Moving on, the United Kingdom and Canada have imposed sanctions on the Myanmar's ruling military generals for toppling the civilian-led government. UK is slapping sanctions on 3 of Myanmar's military leaders over a coup that ousted the elected government. The UK is imposing travel bans and asset freezes on military generals for their roles in the serious human rights violations during the coup. Meanwhile, Canada has said that it will take action against 9 military officials.
Well, we obviously appalled at the coup that's taken place by the military in Myanmar, and on top of the 16 individuals already subject to targeted sanctions by the UK, we've added 3 further names today, 2 individuals from the defence and interior ministries responsible for attacks on protesters and for the coup itself. And we want to be clear with our American friends, our Canadian partners who announced similar measures today, but also with our European colleagues and partners that this is unacceptable behaviour, that the coup must be resisted, that we must find a way back to democracy, and that those who perpetrate violations of human rights abuses, as we've seen in Myanmar, must be held to account.
The UK already has sanctions in place on military leader Min Aung Hlaing and accusing him of human rights abuses against Rohingya Muslims. Earlier, US also imposed sanctions on Myanmar's military leaders, freezing assets. The Biden administration has cut off the general's access to $1 billion in funds in the United States. In its third meet, the Quad group, US, Australia, Japan and India discussed the urgent need to restore government in the conflict-torn Myanmar. In a readout of the meeting as released by the Japanese Foreign Ministry, the ministers discussed countering disinformation, counter-terrorism, maritime security, the urgent need to restore the democratically elected government in Burma. Japan, during the Quad meeting, has said that it agrees with US, India and Australia that democracy must be restored. Meanwhile, protests continue across the country as citizens hit the streets to denounce the coup. Massive crowds of protesters took to the streets of Myanmar's largest city of Yangon again. The daily protests that have paralyzed many government offices showed no signs of easing despite a junta promise of a new election. Western countries have condemned the military action of seizing power and detaining top leaders of Myanmar. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.